All right, guys, Brian from True Results. What's going on? I want to highlight the Styku machine. There's different ways to check your body fat. Obviously, there's some that are a little bit more accurate than others. This is a Styku machine. Really cool. There's in-body machines, there's DEXA scans, things like that. But what's nice is this one gives you a really good representation of all the analytics and all the circumference measurements on your body, which is super nice. So this is one of our members here that started off. Now keep this in mind. I had to ask her if I was allowed to do this. This right here is Jenny. She kicks some butt. This is her first scan. Let's do a split screen to see where she's at 100 days later. "100 days later, completely different person. Cool thing is I can click on any one of these lines and it'll tell us where we started, where we took this to. And the nice thing is throughout the process and the journey, talking to Jenny from here, going over like, what are your struggles? Are you getting enough water? Are you calculating your calories? Do you know what recommendations you should have? This machine will give you a really good representation of how many calories your body burns. And obviously, things change with your caloric output. If your caloric expenditure goes high, you're hiking, you're working out, you're lifting weights X amount of days a week, it's going to change those numbers. Your body is going to demand more calories. Understand this also. Your body also carries a certain amount of lean mass, a certain amount of pounds of body fat. Your lean mass is not, your muscle doesn't weigh more than your body fat. It's just more dense. And it's 3 and 4 times more likely or more active, and it burns that many more calories than body fat. So when you look at things like this, you can look at the side profile, the front profile. You can do a full 360, which I don't need you to do that. But what I want you to do is I want you to minimize that. Let's pull up this next chart here. We can look at how many inches she's down over that. I think it's about 100 days or more. So she's down about 37 inches over her whole body. So all those points are measured differently, and it goes all the way throughout these last 100 days. We'll pull up this fitness profile here. This one's cool. She's now at 34.1% body fat. A couple cool things. We'll pull up the calorie calculator. So from here, it's like, okay, you're at 34.1% body fat. I'm going to go to calorie calculator real quick. So right here is a representation of how many calories Jenny burns at rest. So your BMR, your basic metabolic rate. 1341 is the number. So right now, her demand is at 1609. This is without her lifting weight. So if I go back to that fat loss calculator, and let's just say obviously she's down, I don't know, 8 or 10%, which we'll get into that in a second. But if I toggle this down to, let's say, 32%, or let's say even 28%. Go 28, or in that range there. Cool. So I would break this down for her. Her goal, now again, depending on how much lean mass she has and her goals, she needs to lose another 12 pounds of body fat, right? We might have to put on a couple pounds of lean mass to get that full tone look that she wants, but everybody's goals are different. Some people just want to feel better, move better, whatever it may be. There's different things, so we'll get into that also. But looking at this, let's put her at 4 times a week working out. Again, this GLP-1 skewing perception of how fast you should lose weight, but understand that a healthy weight is 1.5 to 2 pounds on average each week, right? You want to see a consistent pattern. Whether it's a bowel movement or a fluctuation of water, the amount of sodium you take in, it is always important to actually monitor what you're taking in and obviously talk to a fitness professional or a dietitian or nutritionist, but we can give you recommendations in general here. So her goal would be essentially June 12th, 2025 to go from where she's at now to where she wants to get to. So if I go back to this calorie calculator, you will see her daily caloric expenditure goes up to 2145. So understand this. You can say, oh my goodness, I'm eating less than this number here. Well, first of all, it's more important to talk to a professional, but also to gauge what you're taking in. Your body needs a certain amount of protein to maintain your lean body mass. So as you're losing weight, losing body fat is ideal. So when someone's like, I want to lose 30 pounds, I really break it down for them and say, okay, cool. We look at the numbers. Here you want to lose 22 or 27 or 30 pounds of body fat. So again, short-term goals and long-term goals are important. Working with the mindset and staying consistent and being patient throughout the process is important. Jenny was a rock star. We also have a training app, which is cool because then we can actually monitor what she's taking in. What do her workouts look like outside of here? If she's not here working out 4 or 5 days a week, what is she doing outside here? What is her caloric expenditure? So when we look at these details, I can even go a little bit more deep diving into, let's go to the health factor here. So we can look at waist to hip ratio. We've got visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, fat that's inside your body fat that's outside your body. So if I go from here, I can go risk analysis. When she first started off, this was way more dangerous. She was more in like the 3.9 times more likely for respiratory. This is all based off of Mayo Clinic research. So this gives you a really good representation of things that you're susceptible to because of having this much body fat around your waist. So looking at all these things, there's ways you can diminish these things that are dangerous for your body from having this body fat. So if we look at these numbers, her going from 37.4-inch waist, obviously she's probably going to lose some weight in this process. She is now a 31.3, puts her in a much better position to succeed. So when we look at this, I go to a risk reduction calculator. To take her from this phase here, we can start toggling this down to find out what's the sweet spot. Where do you want to go? And again, some people are just like, hey, I want to feel better. I want to drop some weight off my waist. And then again, someone that comes in here is like, hey, I want to get that muscle tone, or I really want to build some muscle, or I want to feel better. Whatever your goals are, those are awesome goals. You to actually do something, create habits for success are important. So Jenny was so consistent with tracking her food that when I asked her, I was like, hey Jenny, I noticed that every single day, I mean, it is an absolute coincidence that you lost this weight consistently. Some days she was under eating, and we're like, hey Jenny, we've got to make sure we're getting enough protein. You've got to get your calories up. We go by how you feeling, how you functioning. How's your strength? How you feel when you wake up? Are you chemically dependent on caffeine or whatever you might be taking? So understand that some people are just chemically dependent on caffeine or certain energy drinks. This right here, lifting obviously creates those endorphins and energy in general. So the cool thing is we're focusing on getting your calories up. She's someone that used to undereat and then overeat and binge eat on the weekends. So the most important thing that she started to do is being consistent and tracking so we can actually monitor that to give her the right recommendations and hold her accountable to those things. So she rocked it. She kicked butt. This is one part of the way that we keep people accountable, because every 30 days we're able to look and see how do you feel, how do you function, how do your body respond to what you're actually doing. So this right here is a great representation of being consistent. Now the whole goal is not just to get to your goal, ladies and gentlemen. It is to get to your goal. And how did I get there? Having a game plan, because until you start to get results, you don't have that understanding of how you got there. And once you get that belief, then the process is the education to hold this long term. So her goal is to get even better from where she's at now, but now she has the education to succeed. And now she's overcome a bunch of adversity throughout this process. So now it's the long-term game. You might have been getting ready for a bachelorette party. You might have been getting ready for a wedding, a vacation, whatever it is. Now you've got the ups and downs in life. The cool thing is now navigating through life and being consistent as possible throughout this. So now her next goal is just to be in shape throughout life and figure out whatever life throws at her. So hands off to Jenny. Great job on that one. That's just one of many people that see great results here. And have a great day.